Health,
agriculture,
education,
environment,
social welfare,
community development,
cultural programs,
music.
all active right here.
On Radioactive 90.4 megahertz. Get active!
Hello listeners, you are listening to Radioactive CR 90.4 megahertz, Bangalore's first community radio station. This is Beulah. Welcome to the Preeti Bhuyan talk show, and let's talk to Preeti and know who's our special guest today. Yes, Preeti, please welcome your guest.
Thank you, Beulah. Thank you. Today is a World Cancer Day. This is a special program. I have invited Bhumika and Teri Peri to my show today. Bhumika is a head coach, Pinkerton. She trains many women, many girls in different locations as a Pinkerton training girls. Bhumika trains cancer survivors and visually impaired girls for the fitness. She trains every Saturday, regular basis across the country. She is an icon, she is a motivation, and she is an inspiration to all the women. Bhumika, as a profession, Bhumika is an engineer, an MBA from IIM Bangalore, working presently for IBM. She is a mother, woman of substance, went to pursue her passion for running and fitness. She did many international marathons. She crossed the globe. That is about Bhumika. And now about Teri Peri. Teri is a wonderful woman, cancer survivor herself, a very positive thinker, taking life so positive way. She is also, Teri Peri also is a Pinkerton ambassador. Here is Bhumika and Teri Peri. Let us listen how Bhumika trains women, what kind of facilities she have, which way we can keep ourselves fit. There is a discussion. So Bhumika and Teri, welcome to our show.
And I'm Teri Peri, and I have been coming back and forth to India over the last 10 or 12 years. I work with KPMG as a director with their offshore services and support a team of about 1,100 here at KPMG in Bangalore and also in Kochi. And this group of 1,100 support the tax practice for the U.S. And I have been involved, though, in running with fitness for all my life. I've always tried to exercise and stay fit and encourage the team here, even at KPMG. So maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I got a group here at KPMG to participate in the Midnight Marathon. There was 20, 25. Sometimes, for some of them, it was the first time running. We had a great time. But my connection to Pinkathon happened because I just hit my 6-year anniversary 6 years ago. I had thyroid cancer, so I'm a thyroid cancer survivor, and got connected. Somebody at work, someone that I work with, Susan Thomas, her husband Bobby Thomas, is a big runner here in India. I think a lot of people, hopefully, if they're fitness and listening in, they know Bobby's name. But Bobby got me connected to Bhumika and the Pinkathon team.
I'm so thankful for Bobby to do
we'll give Bobby a shout out on the radio show today.
I still remember Susan and Bobby came along for that first training session when we launched it 3 years back.
Yeah. So 3 years back was my first connection to Pinkathon, where I told the story.
And by the way, that was the very first session that we had done. I think.
Oh, it was for the Pinkathon training?
As in we were doing it on an infrequent basis, and then that period when you came was when we had started very regularly doing it on bi-weekly basis.
So that session was really used as a launching pad for the women to understand how important it is to, while the Pinkathon event itself was a lot of fun, the important thing is staying,
to give them continuity throughout the year
regularly.
So this is what the initiative has done, that given them continuity to look forward and do the things every day and incorporate everything as a lifestyle and not just do it as a one-off event.
Right. So that's good, because the things that I tried to share at that event was my history, that I had stayed fit. And the story that Bobby loved so much was that 2 weeks after I stayed fit, was fit through my surgery, and then had my surgery, and 2 weeks later was able to do a triathlon. But because I stayed fit through it and continue to do so, and again, we also shared with the ladies, not only is it important to stay fit, but their checkups are important, their diet is important, and all those elements together and are really important for them to take care of their health.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys are here for today then, right? To speak about you said you would speak about cancer. You've recently started like helping out people
Yes.
who've gone through cancer, right? And Teri would be sharing her experiences about staying healthy throughout, and so that's what today's show is going to be about, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, so we've been training the women, the regular women, throughout the year, and it's been 3 years. We recently celebrated the third anniversary of the trainings. And in addition to training the regular women, I thought that we need a special care, special initiative just for the survivors to keep them motivated, to keep coming back, and to make them feel special. And I wanted to do that with the help of the medical fraternity and the experts in the sports field, so that we can give them some passion to look forward to, which and taking their mind away from their suffering. So that's why we were launched the cancer survivors training last week, and today was the second session, and we're going to do that in multiple locations across Bangalore. And the next session, we are launching the next training location in Banargata in Apollo Hospitals on next Saturday. So yeah, I really look forward. I'm very. It is very close to my heart, this initiative. And Teri has been there to guide us throughout. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.
So, what do you think it is about women when it comes to health as well as fitness? Is it related to an extent to a social cultural aspect? Because you come from a different space altogether, right? If you consider Asia and the West, we have a huge difference when it comes to.
There's. I agree. I think there's some differences, but there's also a lot of similarities. So the difference culturally in India, of course, and Milind Soman is why he created Pinkathon, was just creating first a safe space. It wasn't culturally acceptable in India for women to run. It wasn't something they do, not for any particular reasons, just socially it wasn't proper to run. They're to be in the home, they're to take care of the family. And he's created, through Pinkathon, a safe space for women to have an introduction to running. Running in whatever they want to wear, whoever they want to be with, and all in a community of women. Coming from the U.S., but then the things that are similar about the Asian culture in India is just women still doing things in the home and trying to find time. So even in the U.S., if women are working and they have a family and they have all the commitments at home, it's difficult to find the time. And those are still same issues that you find in Asia, because I get women when I come here that will ask me, how do you find the time? And it starts slowly. Sometimes it can be very early. Sometimes you need to do it before anybody in the house wakes up. Sometimes you do it with your children. There were times when my children were small, and I would take them in the stroller, and you do your run along with them as your strollers. If I'm swimming and they were water safe, I could swim laps while they played in the pool. So it's maybe a little more challenging, but those things I think are very similar, and so I try and share those stories of the things that I find are similar in the U.S. And I think culturally the things that are unique to Asia and India in particular are definitely changing. I've seen it over the last 3 years where it's becoming much more acceptable, and there's so many more women. I've run the Mumbai half marathon twice now, and the numbers of women are growing in that race, and that's really great to see. So I think culturally those things are changing, but the core women issues are going to remain the same, wherever you are.
Yeah, I agree. I do get a lot of queries from women from other countries also, that how do we make time for something like this, and really you can go out so early in the morning. Are you able to do that? I mean, these questions are the same. They have the same challenges everywhere. But regardless of all this, the fact remains that the women, when they take up some activities which are challenging, they got to be ready for all the things, build a support system around them, and things like your own safety. Do you know how to do self-defense? Are you able to defend yourself in case of a situation where you are attacked? And are you going out with a partner in the morning? Like, are you going out in the dark? Are you going out in a forest area to run? You got to really think and plan everything before you take the step of doing something challenging and getting into fitness or any sporting activities. So we've got to, the women have to think about, these are the same challenges that women worldwide would have, I guess. But there's a good amount of planning that is required, and don't just do it in a ad hoc manner and think that, oh yeah, I'm going to, it doesn't work. It has to be planned.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you think it has to come with a systematic, probably like priorities, right? Because to an extent, I feel like women.
Prioritizing what is most important to you, what is most important.
True. But then I feel like in most, I think all over the world, right? Women are, we have this idea that women generally have to give more to other people than they give to themselves. Like my mother, for example, even though I tell her, you kind of have to keep fit and stuff like that, she's like, yeah, but I have to take you guys out, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I think along the way she feels like it's kind of like betraying us if she does something for herself, right?
But if she could change how she sees it, and she
True.
really shows that she's setting an example. So I feel when I started doing more events, like if I do runs and triathlons, my boys are now older, but they started to join me. So it's really not by you taking a little time for yourself, it's also setting a really good example for other people in your family that they need to take time for themselves too. I think everybody needs to understand that staying fit is just part of, for life, what you should do in taking care of yourself. If you don't, and the other thing that Millen preaches, and we all do, if you don't take care of yourself and something happens, then what happens to the rest of the family? So if you want to remind your mom, we don't want anything to happen to you. And that's one of the things why I, tell the story here is I want to be around for a while, and I want to set an example for my children that it's important for me to take care of myself, and then I'm able to give, more time for them. And I think if you're fitter, you're going to be healthier and stronger. I haven't had, except for breaking a bone, I haven't had colds, or you're not sick as often. You're ending up being healthier overall. You're going to recover from a cancer surgery or from any surgery, much faster as a healthier person. It's just you have a body, and it's not meant to do nothing. It's meant to exercise it. You've got muscles to exercise. And the fitter you can be, and there's studies that prove it, the healthier you can be, the less likely, you're going to reduce your chances of getting cancer. And, I was sharing a book. I brought it with me, but there's a book that I shared with the ladies this morning called Living Time by Dr. Healy, who was the former director of the National Institute of Health. And there's just a great, very simple piece in the book that just talks particularly about health and fitness, saying, specifically, we're just not meant to be slugs, is the word she used. Yet so much of our creative energy has gone into ways in cutting back on physical work. So it says it says more studies have shown that women who exercise face lower rates of recurrence of prior breast cancer, and those who have less sedentary lives experience fewer cancers overall. Exercise is a mood booster, resulting in less depression and a greater sense of control and optimism, an important part of keeping the immune system active and robust. It's not saying you have to do a lot. It's just saying a little bit at 5 days a week. But it's an overall, it's just like you have dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, exercise. If you're feeding your body, why wouldn't you exercise your body? Yeah. And if the product of that is a healthier being overall, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. So that guilt feeling of leaving your family and then spending so many hours away on your own fitness and on your own mental well-being, you kind of unlearn that.
It's a lot of learning.
Because you see you should what all these things like exercise and health and fitness teaches you is that your ability to handle stress goes up very high, so you are able to deal with situations way better than you used to before. So now we women we get we're so sensitive, and small things bog us down. We just feel bad about somebody said something, and things, even the slightest things, and you want to go into a shell. So those kind of things will not happen if you are doing very consistently, following a routine of health and mind fitness, mind and body fitness. Then you will find that you will be able to handle all kinds of challenging situations. So you are then helping your kids grow in a much better environment. You're giving them a healthier space. So one more thing is that when people take up these activities, fitness activities, there are a lot of these running events and health events which keep happening throughout the year. So my advice would be to plan and pick events in a way that you don't do it every weekend. There's an event which you go into it. Then if somebody is saying that you are spending too much time and you are away from home, then that will turn out to be true, because definitely you are spending too much time on fitness activity which is not required. Don't enroll for every event which is coming up, because there's this event every other Saturday, every other Sunday, and if you spend 2 to 4 hours on such events, then you really got to rethink that what am I doing? Because if you don't go with a plan and with a certain with a goal which you want to achieve, if there is no goal and you're just doing some activities and a lot of activities which are health related, but there's no end goal and no vision which you will achieve, then definitely there is something that you have got to rethink. And your kids may be right. Yes, you're spending too much time away. So that is the point. So then what my advice would be to pick like a 3-monthly period, like a 3 months, give yourself a goal race or a goal, a health goal like a weight loss, even if it's not a race, or a goal which is fitness related, but it's a good sufficient gap of 3 months, and enroll for events with a good gap and not every other day. And when you go to an event also, you could plan that what happens to the other activities which I was routinely doing, like cooking and my kids to be dropped to the school, and if there is anything to be done, household work, how do I make sure that those things are taken care of. That definitely needs to be planned, and you can't just leave everything. I mean, I'm sure nobody would leave it, but it's just a thought that even so those things, if we slip on that, then it doesn't really work out, because your family support and your colleagues at work, their support is needed in order for you to achieve that goal which you have set for yourself, which is 3 months away or 6 months away. And that's why these small things really you need to pay attention. So there is a delicate balance between your time that you give to fitness and your goals, right? Your personal and fitness goals and work goals.
I don't know if I'd say it's patience or more of just a discipline like anything else you take up. And, Bhumika was talking about goals and events, and I get that question a lot because I do sign up for a lot of triathlons in the summer. And people might wonder why, but I enjoy it. 2 things. It gives me the goal that she referred to. So I like to do the balance of running, swimming, and biking. And it gives me something to work towards. But you don't have to. You may be a disciplined person enough, or you want to swim on Mondays and run on Tuesdays and bikes on Wednesdays, if those are just your days. I just like the community effort. I love going to the events. They're very energetic and very supportive. But if that's not your shtick, it's not something that you like to do, don't. But, just find whatever it is. Some people like Zumba, and some people like to do their yoga. It doesn't have to be running. It just needs to be some type of exercise every day, 5 days a week. So if running is what you like and you want to pick an event to work towards, that's fine. If it's yoga and you want to do more of that, or be able to do some difficult pose and within 3 months, do that. So it doesn't matter. And it may take a little bit to find the thing that you're passionate about in your exercise. And I think you will, whatever you love to do. It just is important to do it. That's, and that's a discipline. But it's a discipline that you can find in anything
So
else
just
you
to
do. in
add
the
to
day.
that, when we talk about discipline and being consistent, most of the women and the survivors and are also trained visually impaired, so they don't know that what when it comes when we say discipline and follow a routine, what does it mean, like. So when Teri was talking about discipline, I just want to add that most people, when they start off, like this cancer survivors, they do not know that what does it mean to be disciplined in fitness when they start off. At what level should they do? So that's why we've got a 20-week program which we have designed with the help of the doctors and some fitness experts, and so we will start them off on a very easy workout plan which is going to be monitored by the doctors themselves. And this in order to make it easy for them to attend, we've got several locations across the city where these trainings will be held. There's Kaban Park, there's Jainagar, there is next week there is Banargata Apollo Hospital's launch, and there will be several more coming up. And basically it is to make it convenient for the cancer survivors to they should find a training very close to their home. They should not be having to go very far away. And when they come in these sessions, there's also their doctor who is here, so they feel very comfortable and they trust the environment in which they are doing the session. And the fitness session is being done by therapists. Like we had a laughter therapist, a yoga therapist, and they are trained doctors in that therapy practice, so which gives them a very systematic and a structured discipline for them to start off. So the basics, the foundation itself is very strong, and whatever they are going through, they find that they are able to forget that, and they get passionate about this new thing, the fitness activity. And in addition to that, we also have several talks, the Q&A, health talk and Q&A with the doctors and fitness experts, so they can ask all the questions that they have. And we also encourage survivors to come with their families, because the family also needs to be supporting them, and they also need to be in this fitness initiative, because they have to be healthy and they have to be fit, and because there's a lot of challenging times that they will face, and they need to be able to sail through it easily. And that's why the family and the survivors, all of them got to participate together, is what we encourage.
Okay.
One of the things I noticed at this morning's session in particular was some of the participants coming and asking. She had a doctor she's from Apollo, you said, right? And they're in a small setting.
From Apollo
yeah, so it's in a small setting with most women, even if it was with families, but it's a comfortable setting, and where they did a yoga session. So someone's helping them through learning maybe how to take better care of themselves through exercise. And then they're also able to ask the doctor questions that they maybe wouldn't have been able to answer. And hopefully if they come every week, you always leave a place that, I should have asked that question. And by having these weekly sessions, they can come back the next week, maybe to the next expert, and ask them additional questions that have come to their mind. So it's kind of a nice, safe place for these women. They wouldn't maybe otherwise not going to walk into a doctor's office or set up an appointment, but it's a nice, safe place for them to feel comfortable to ask the questions that they maybe wouldn't ordinarily have someone to ask.
Yeah, so they find women all around them, and they open up, because they find it difficult even to open up in front of their own families. So the doctor was also quite, the doctors are quite happy, because the patients are opening up, and when the doctor and the patient are meeting each other on a professional basis, the patient may not be talking so many other things, challenges that they are facing, right?
It reminded me, my very first session 3 years ago, a woman came up to me at that session afterwards. So she knew I was a cancer survivor. Yeah. She knew I did exercise, and actually, took me back a little bit, but she asked me the question. She had been told she couldn't wear a sports bra because sports bras cause cancer.
Okay.
I said, that's not the case. I said, it's okay to wear a sports bra. It won't cause cancer. But she pulled me aside, and it was a concern. You could see the concern. It was a very serious question she had. So that type of situation, or that surrounding, to be in a place where you feel comfortable, if there's survivors that are there and they can ask each other questions, or a doctor that they can ask, it's just, I can appreciate the women, and particularly here, in India, being able to have a place to feel safe to ask us.
There are at least 3 doctors in the session.
Yeah.
So which is like, I think it's an amazing encouragement for people to
Yeah.
come and join, because even in halfway through the session there will be several doubts that come to the mind, and we encourage them to just stop and then just ask your questions right at that point, because it's not easy. It's like just a small exercise like lying on the floor and lifting your leg up. Can a colon cancer patient, can she do it? Like those very basic questions they have, like, can I lift my leg, is that safe? I've never done this. I've always been taking it very easy, like I do just walks. I've never done this exercise. So it's very interesting, the kind of questions that come up, and we also would like to know that what is best for these survivors. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are also you're going to have these sessions weekly, right, in different parts of Bangalore.
Yeah.
So along with that, are you going to kind of have a different space, perhaps for people who cannot actually attend it? Like for me, YouTube has always been a very easy way to kind of learn new exercises, right, when it comes to working out and kind of figure out which is the best way. There've always been influencers on YouTube or other spaces, right? So are you guys also going to do something like that for people who prefer to kind of stay indoors, or people who are quite tired, like let's say newly, like mothers with newborn babies, to an extent, if they kind of want something to do and they can't leave their child somewhere? So do you think that you would kind of start something else along with the online stuff? Or
So I have started a YouTube channel very recently, because I think that is a very good way of reaching out to people who are really taking time to open up and come and join the group. But my advice would be that once you come into a group environment and you see that the group collective energy, you will it's very healing, and nothing can replace that. The motivation and the encouragement you get by seeing people who are suffering on a similar level, who have suffered and come out, that is there is no replacement for that. So yes, there will be other channels through which we would reach out to them and make sure the message reaches them, and they do it on their own, but we would encourage always that they come out and then join in the collective effort, because that's where the maximum output would be.
I think if they come once a week, they may be ending up doing things that they find on YouTube, I suppose, themselves. But there's so much out there already. I think this one's really meant, as Bhumika said, to connect with other women in similar situations, which you'll never get, through social media as much as you would in person. So it's meant, what they do during the week, they might connect on their own. They may go and say, I could do this on Sunday with the other ladies, so maybe I should go ahead and look and see what else I can do during the week, because we want them to do something every day, not just on Sundays.
Yeah, so
Sundays really meant collectively to get together and connect and share what they're doing and encourage each other.
Saturdays, Teri.
Or Saturdays. Say Saturday.
So that's how the 20-week program is designed. Right, Saturdays.
Today's Saturday.
So right now it's Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how the 20-week program is designed, that you can do it at your own place, at your own pace, and you can start with the week 1, and you could keep doing the week 1 until you think that you have done it well, and then move to the next week's program. And then there's a YouTube videos to support that thing, and so you could do it at home. But the entire week you are doing it at your own location, but in the weekend is when those 2 hours is when you are meeting. So that is how it is designed. It's not that you got to go out every day and then be at one point. It's at your own place. But that once in a week is required. We would tell the survivors separately that you can come a little late. So they start at 6:45, 7. While the people who are regular girls, they reach a little earlier, about 6 o'clock or 5:45, because they have a different set of workout. So survivors, once they reach, then we had a short walk for them. Then after the walk, there was there are several other things that you can do, like swimming, cycling, and triathlons and things. She gave them a bigger picture of how she faced the challenges with cancer, and she overcame them, and then how she's now into all those bigger races. So they felt very motivated, and the environment with the setup in which we were sitting and talking was like an open air, a nice big park, and a lot of birds around, and a lot of curiosity among the people walking around there. So they also started coming and listening to what was going on, and they joined us. So basically, once we finished that walk and jog workout, therapist, doctor who was yoga and a naturopathy doctor, and she told them about how this therapy would benefit them in terms of helping you with breathing challenges that some of them were facing while doing the walk up the hill, some of the joint pains that they were facing. So how does the yoga therapy help them benefit in, how does it add in or enhance that workout which they were doing? So oncologist doctor who spoke about people who are suffering from cancer, how they would benefit in terms of their mental health and their physical health by coming in an open environment like this. Do the same thing for them, and they need this kind of a setup, and we will help you with things that you need, so you don't need to worry about anything. And she has a small son, one of the survivors, so so we will be there to support. And they open up, and they also shed some tears, and which is I think good, because they don't need to be bottled up, they need to speak out.
So, Bhumika, if I wanted to join, if I knew somebody who would like to join, where do we find you? How do we know about which place it's going to happen in, the time and everything? So, it'll be great if you give us the details, where it's going to happen next week. What do we do? Where do we go?
So this is going to be a year-long activity which will happen over the weekend, every Saturday, as of now. So you can reach out to me at on my Facebook page @Bhumika Runner, and you could also write to me, email bhumika.patel1@gmail.com. It is bhumika.patel1@gmail.com. And there is also a page for Pinkathon trainings @Pinkathon training, and you could message us there.
I think it's just, I want to encourage them to take the first step. That first step of going to your first session, or walking into the gym for the first time, or going to your first yoga class. That's always the hardest. And everybody's done it once, and then they never have that first time again. So just, be brave and do that first step into whatever place you first want to try, be it one of these sessions or your first gym session. But it's really important for your health and your well-being to take that first step. So once you get through that first step, you're home free after that.
Keep fit and stay strong, and please message me if you want to listen to if you want to hear any particular topic. This is Bhumika signing out.
And Peri.
Okay, and until then,
stay active. So listeners, that was Teri and Bhumika at Preeti's talk show, and it was lovely listening to them. They have done wonderful jobs. Hope it inspires all the women around here in Bangalore. So listeners, this is time to tune out the show. This is Beulah signing out from the show. Stay tuned to Radioactive and get active.
Feeling lazy? Feeling laid back? Then beware, beware, beware! Radioactive 90.4 MHz is here to turn you active. Radioactive, get active!